Did you know that Bolivia is one of the most affordable countries to live in throughout South America? In this video, I will take you to the 5 cheapest cities to live in Bolivia, where you can enjoy a peaceful life surrounded by Andean landscapes, ancestral culture, and an accessible economy. Whether you're looking for where to move, travel, or simply understand what life in Bolivia is like, stay until the end, because you'll be surprised by number 1. And don't forget to leave me a comment. Would you live in Bolivia if you could? Sucre is not simply the constitutional capital of Bolivia. It is that colonial gem that captures you from the very first moment. Its whitewashed houses, carved wooden balconies, and spacious plazas compose a visual symphony that evokes another era without ever feeling anything but alive and modern. Here, history intertwines with daily life, but the most surprising thing is how all of this can be enjoyed without spending a fortune. At more than 2,800 meters above sea level, Sucre's climate is a constant caress. Sunny days and mild nights, without extremes, offer a comfort few cities can match. There's no need to worry about the hot summers of Lima or the freezing winters of the highlands. Here, breathing is a pleasant act, and the climate itself lowers the cost of living, less spending on clothing or heating. Imagine living in a furnished apartment for less than 1,300 Boliviano a month in safe and well-located areas. It's not an illusion. Sucre offers that opportunity. You can find places with colonial structures, but inside, modern floors and functional bathrooms that combine low prices with authentic charm. Food is another reason to smile. In the local markets, you breathe its vibrant and colorful culture. For just 13 Boliviano, you can enjoy a full lunch, hot soup, a main dish of meat or chicken with rice and potatoes, and a drink included. Plus, fresh products like quinoa, artisanal cheese, and Andean fruits allow you to cook at home without overspending. Walking through the historic center, every step whispers stories. Plaza 25 de Mayo, surrounded by the cathedral and iconic buildings, is the beating heart of Sucre. On Saturdays, a craft fair is set up there that blends indigenous crafts, alpaca textiles, and local gastronomy. The bustle is calm, friendly, without the stress of big metropolises. Just 10 minutes by taxi or public transport, you find residential neighborhoods like Las Delicias or Guadalupe, with parks, schools, accessible shops, and quick access to hospitals and universities. All of this for a fraction of the price you pay in other cities. Sucre is a historic seat of knowledge. The San Francisco Xavier University operates here with an active student life. This creates cafes, secondhand bookstores, art workshops, cultural seminars, and exchange spaces. If you like to learn, meet new people, and be in a creative environment, this is the place. You find it without paying high fees or facing stressful urban life. Although Sucre is not a megacity, it has all the essential services: public and private hospitals, clinics, pharmacies, stable internet access, and continuous water and electricity supply. All of this with rates generally lower than the South American average, which translates into more savings without breaking quality of life. Less than an hour away is the Cal Orco Cretaceous Park, with giant fossilized footprints, a unique geological experience. Additionally, you can easily travel to Potosí, Tarija, or Chuquisaca for weekend excursions. Sucre is also the perfect base to explore the region, always with responsible planning and budgeting. The essence of Sucre is not in what it costs, but in what it offers: a place of connection, belonging, and well-being. Here, life is lived more humanely, more slowly, and more in community. You don't just inhabit a house. You walk through streets that seem to embrace you, participate in centuries-old traditions, share coca mate with neighbors, and learn that the value of life is not in what you spend, but in what you feel. Pre-Gunter, a ChatGPT. Cochabamba doesn't need a boast to stand out. It's a city that wins your heart effortlessly, with its perfect climate, friendly people, and a pace of life that invites you to stay. It's located right in the center of Bolivia, giving it a privileged position. But what truly captivates is how life is lived there, calmly, with flavor, and at a surprisingly low cost of living. The climate is one of its greatest treasures. It's called the city of eternal spring for a reason. Throughout the year, temperatures remain mild. There's no sharp cold of the high plateau, nor the extreme heat of the lowlands. It's as if the climate conspires to make every day pleasant, ideal for going for a walk, sitting in a plaza, or simply opening the window and breathing worry-free. But if there's one thing that defines Cochabamba, it's the food. The cuisine here is among the best in the country. And the best part is that it's affordable. At any market, you can have a hearty lunch for about $2. Locotos, silpanchos, pique macho, all served in generous portions with homemade flavor. Eating well and cheaply is not an exception, it's the norm. The city itself has a particular energy. Although it's large, it doesn't feel chaotic. Distances are manageable, public transportation works, and rides cost no more than 30 cents. The streets are lively but not overcrowded. And in many neighborhoods, you breathe that blend of modernity and tradition that gives Cochabamba its identity. Renting a home is another pleasant surprise. For less than $1,300 Boliviano a month, you can get a spacious, well-located apartment, even with a patio or balcony. If your budget is tighter, there are rooms in shared houses for even less than $700. And the best part is that construction quality tend to be good. The city is growing, but hasn't lost its accessible essence. The people also make a difference. Cochabambinos have a reputation for being hospitable, straightforward but warm. There's a strong community culture. If you arrive as an outsider, it won't be long before someone lends a hand, recommends a place, or includes you in a conversation. Here, closeness, trust, and neighborliness are valued. Additionally, Cochabamba has a youthful vibe. It's a university city, with many Bolivian and foreign students. This is evident in cafes, libraries, cultural centers. There are fairs, exhibitions, independent cinema, and free activities every week. If you're looking for a life full of content, you have it here without paying high prices. And if you want to escape for a weekend, you don't have to go far. An hour away are the valleys, Tenari National Park, colonial towns, and ecological routes offering adventure without a big budget. Cochabamba gives you the base and freedom to explore. All this makes living here not just possible, but desirable. It's a city that lets you breathe, save, and enjoy at the same time. Ideal for remote workers, retirees, students, or families seeking stability and comfort without going into debt. Cochabamba isn't a city to show off. It's a city to live, to savor slowly, to walk without hurry, to discover its corners without a map. And for many who arrive with no expectations, it became the place where they finally felt at home. Pre-Gunter, a ChatGPT. Tarija is not a city that everyone talks about, and perhaps that's why it has a charm that only truly authentic places manage to preserve. Located in the south of Bolivia, very close to the border with Argentina, Tarija is a valley where life feels different. Here, everything moves slower, the air is lighter, and people seem to have more time to chat, greet, and live without hurry. But what really surprises is how far you can go with very little money. The first thing you notice upon arriving in Tarija is the climate. Unlike the high plateau, where the cold bites, or the lowlands, where the heat stifles, here the climate is mild, with fresh mornings and temperate afternoons. The seasons blend into a kind of perpetual spring that transforms the city into an always welcoming place. This steady temperature not only makes daily life more comfortable, but also greatly reduces expenses. You don't need heating or air conditioning, and that's already a huge advantage. Costs in Tarija are almost a blessing for those coming from other parts of the world or even other regions of Bolivia. Here, you can rent a modest apartment for less than 1,000 Boliviano per month. And if you're looking for a bigger house with a garden in the outskirts or residential areas, you'll hardly pay more than 1,500. These are prices that would seem impossible in other countries. But in Tarija, they are normal. But it's not just about rent. Eating in Tarija is a real pleasure, and it's cheap too. Markets offer fresh fruits, seasonal vegetables, meats, cheeses, and artisanal wines at incredibly low prices. A full lunch at a family restaurant can cost just $2, including soup, main course, and a drink. And if you like cooking at home, with 130 to 200 Boliviano weekly, you can stock up to eat well every day. Tarija is also famous for its wine and Singani culture. The wines and Singanis of this region are recognized nationally, and many even internationally. What's interesting is that you can visit wineries, do tastings, or buy excellent quality wine without spending more than you would for a common bottle at the supermarket. This connection to the land and flavors is felt in every meal, every conversation, every corner of the historic center. The lifestyle in Tarija is calm. The streets are not full of traffic or noise. People walk, greet, and know each other. Neighborhoods are safe, and it's common to see children playing in the street or whole families sharing time in the plaza. There are well-kept parks, bike paths, trails, and spaces where time seems to slow down, so you can simply enjoy. And although it's a medium-sized city, it doesn't lack services. There are public and private hospitals, universities, schools, small shopping centers, good internet, and air connections to other Bolivian cities. It's not an isolated city, but it's also not overwhelmed by the chaos of large capitals. It's that ideal middle point where everything is within reach, but nothing is overcrowded. Moreover, due to its proximity to Argentina, many people take advantage of crossing the border to buy products, visit family, or just go for a walk. This international closeness also gives Tarija a more open, curious, and welcoming vibe for newcomers. And most importantly, here, living is not a race, it's a journey. Tarija teaches you to live slowly, to look at a landscape, to enjoy a good coffee in the plaza, to listen to stories. It's a city for those who are tired of noise, stress, and senseless speed. Living in Tarija is living with less and having more. More time, more tranquility, more connection with the land, with the people, and with yourself. It's a place where money stretches, but above all, where life is valued. Oruro is a city many know for its spectacular carnival, but few stop to see how life is lived here the rest of the year. The truth is, Oruro holds a secret worth its weight in gold. It is one of the cheapest cities to live in Bolivia, with a powerful cultural identity and a unique rhythm of life, where each day seems to flow to the beat of its mining history and highland spirit. Located more than 3,700 meters above sea level, this Andean city has a cold, dry climate that can be intimidating at first. But once your body adapts, you discover that the city offers more than it seems. The first thing that strikes you is how much you can do with very little money. In Oruro, renting a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment can cost between 700 and 1,200 Boliviano per month, around $100 to $170. If you're looking for something simpler, furnished rooms start at 400 Boliviano. In quiet neighborhoods with access to the center, the market, and public transport, it's easy to find safe, spacious, and affordable places. No rents that take your entire paycheck. And when it comes to food, Oruro is a wonder for those who value homemade meals and saving money. A full lunch at a traditional boarding house costs between 10 and 15 Boliviano. It includes a hot soup, a generous main dish with meat, rice or potatoes, and a drink. Eating at home is also cheap. At popular markets like Mercado Campero or Mercado Bolivar, you can do your weekly shopping with just 150 to 200 Boliviano including fruits, Andean vegetables, eggs, llama or chicken meat, artisanal cheese, and fresh breads. But beyond being economical, living in Oruro is an experience that connects you to the depths of Bolivia. The city breathes tradition. In its streets, plazas, markets, and even hills, you feel an energy born from centuries of mining history, social struggle, faith, and living culture. Here, life is not rushed. People walk calmly, talk leisurely, and share willingly. One of Oruro's strengths is its sense of community. The city has the soul of a small town, but with city services. There are universities, public and private hospitals, cheap transport, only 1.50 Boliviano per urban trip, and good road and rail connections to other regions of the country. Internet is stable and accessible, and there's a growing community of people working remotely or studying online without problems. Safety is also a real advantage. Although, like any city, precautions are necessary. Oruro has very quiet areas where you can live without fear. Neighbors know each other, greet each other, and support one another. It's common to see children playing in plazas while adults share a warm API drink or a quinoa bread at the end of the afternoon. Oruro is not a modern or luxury city, but what it has, it gives honestly. Its carnival, which bursts into color every February, is just a glimpse of the cultural pride lived all year round. The dances, bands, religious processions, fairs, all are part of a very strong collective identity. And that identity is also reflected in its prices. Here, money doesn't get wasted on frivolities. Life is lived with little, enjoyed with less, and you learn to value more. Oruro is not made for the quick tourist or the traveler seeking artificial comforts. It's made for those who want to stay, adapt, and find a home in simplicity. Living in Oruro is choosing the authentic. It's stopping the race, learning to walk slowly, rediscovering community life, and realizing that true luxury isn't always inexpensive, but in the genuine. Pre-Gunter at ChatGPT. Potosí is a city that holds deep scars and, at the same time, a dignity that commands respect. It was once one of the richest cities on the planet. Its famous Cerro Rico fed European empires with silver for centuries. Today, Potosí's wealth is no longer measured in precious metals, but in something more authentic, a simple, accessible way of life deeply connected to Bolivian history and identity. Walking through its cobblestone streets, among colonial churches and wooden balconies, is like moving inside an open book. But what's most surprising is not just its ancient beauty, but how little it costs to live here. Potosí is one of the cheapest cities in Bolivia, and possibly in all of South America. Here, with very little money, you can live with dignity, peace, and surrounded by culture. Rent is incredibly affordable. A central 1 or 2 bedroom apartment can cost between 600 and 1,000 Boliviano per month. If you move a bit away from the center, you can find spacious houses, even with a patio, starting at 400 Boliviano. For those who come alone or with a limited budget, furnished rooms start at 250 Boliviano, some with private bathrooms. Food is another treasure of the city. Eating out is so cheap that many don't cook daily. At a traditional boarding house, you could have lunch for 12 to 15 Boliviano, including soup, a main dish, and a drink. Local markets, like Mercado Uni or Mercado Central, offer fresh products at very low prices. For less than 100 Boliviano, you can buy enough for the whole week. Potatoes, chuno, quinoa, meat, vegetables, Andean fruits, and freshly baked bread. The lifestyle in Potosí is very different from that of large capitals. There is no rush here. Time flows at a different pace. People walk, talk, greet each other. There is no modern stress of big cities. It's common to see people reading in plazas, selling sweets on corners, or simply sunbathing near a centuries-old church. Transportation is also very economical. Getting around the city costs 1.50 Boliviano per trip on minibuses or micros. And if you want to walk, the city is perfectly walkable. Distances are not great, and there is a sense of closeness highly valued in daily life. But beyond the economy, living in Potosí is living with history. Every corner has a story to tell, from the Cerro Rico mines, still operating today, to the museums, churches, and colonial buildings that remain standing. The entire city is a living testimony of what was and what still endures. Potosí also has good basic infrastructure. It has universities, hospitals, cultural centers, stable internet, and all basic needs covered. You won't find luxury or giant shopping malls, but you will have what's essential to live comfortably and safely. Also, monthly expenses, including water, electricity, gas, and internet, rarely exceed 200 Boliviano if you live alone. The altitude can be a challenge at first. Over 4,000 meters above sea level, breathing is harder the first few days, but then the body adapts. And with that adaptation comes a deeper connection to the environment, the mountain, the silence, and the most valuable thing, the people. In Potosí, you'll find faces weathered by sun and wind, but also generous hearts. There's a mix of pride, humility, and ancestral wisdom that makes you feel at home quickly. The community welcomes, watches, and teaches. Potosí is a city that reminds you that wealth is not always measured in gold. Sometimes it's measured in how little you need to live well. Here, every Boliviano counts. Every day has value, and every corner has a soul.